Good day everyone! In today's video, we will be learning new topic in grade 9 mathematics that for sure will help us learn amidst this pandemic. So, what are you waiting for? Let's go! It is very important for us to review the past lessons for us to achieve our goal in our next lesson. So, in this case, let's recall the past. In summary, the table above shows the trigonometric ratios of the angles. So we have here the special angles, the 30, 45, 60 degrees angles. And we have here the 6 trigonometric ratios, the sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. So like when we will be asked, what is the value of cosine 30 degrees? Well, of course, this would gonna be the value. That would gonna be square root of 3 over 2. And if you would have, say for example, secant 60 degrees. Well, it's the secant. Here is secant, and we have the 60 degrees. So meaning to say, the value would gonna be 2. Alright. Aside from that, we could also have, like for example, you have sine 30 degrees. What is sine 30 degrees? Okay, it's here, sine and 30 degrees. So meaning to say, the value would gonna be 1/2. Alright, so let's now have a short drill. Wherein, with the directions, we are asked to find the exact value of the following. Let's start number 1. Sine 30 degrees minus cosine 60 degrees. Well, of course, when you say sine 30 degrees, that is equivalent of 1/2. And cosine 60 degrees will also be equal to 1/2. So therefore, what is 1/2 minus 1/2? That will give you 0. Okay? So next up, we have thrice cosecant 60 degrees. Cosecant 60 degrees. So go back from the table. The table shows that it is 2 square root of 3 over 3. So in that case, multiply it by 3 will definitely will give you 2 square root of 3. Alright, so let's now have number 3. Okay, for number 3, twice the square of cosine 30 degrees plus thrice the square of sine 30 degrees. Okay, the answer is gonna be 9 over 4. How? Let's find it out in our solution. So remember from our table that the cosine 30 degrees will have square root of 3 over 2, and our sine 30 degrees will also have equivalent of 1/2. Then, as we simplify it out, therefore you would have 9 over 4. Is that clear? Okay, let's proceed to number 4. Oh, it's too long. Anyways, let's have the secant 30 degrees times cosine 30 degrees minus tangent 60 degrees times cotangent 60 degrees will definitely gives us, oh, it's 0. That's very easy. Well, let's find it out in our solution. Remember that secant 30 degrees is equal to 2 square root of 3 over 3. And cosine 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Subtracted by tangent 60 degrees, which is square root of 3. And cotangent 60 degrees is equivalent of square root of 3 over 3. So to simplify it out, therefore you would have equal to 0. Okay, that's very clear now. Now let's let's proceed to our activity. Identify me. How is it done? In the following figures, let us identify the segment that represents the line of sight. Oh, it's line of sight. And identify the angles, if there is any, that represents the angle of elevation or angle of depression. Let's find out. We have here the first figure. We have here the column, the figure, the line of sight, angle of elevation, Okay? So, angle of depression. Let's have the first figure. Okay, there you go, the first figure. Is there any line of sight? If you will be here as our x, if you will be standing over here, where is your line of sight? Well, the answer is, alright, that would be segment XY and segment XZ. Is there any angle of elevation? Yes, there is. It is angle YXW. How about angle of depression? Well, it's there. That is angle WXZ. Now, let's proceed to figure number 2. If you'll be on the top of this, how do we call this one? Lighthouse. You have it there. Is there any line of sight? Yes. There you go. That is segment AC rather. How about the angle of elevation? That is angle BAC. And the angle of depression, you would have DCA angle. Oh, there are such questions over here. How did you identify the line of sight? How about the angle of elevation? And how about the angle of depression? Do you think you can use these ideas as you solve real-life problems involving angle of elevation and angle of depression? We'll find out later. That's why today, we will be discussing Quarter 4, Week 4, Module 4 that talks about angles of elevation and angles of depression. This is gonna be for the grade 9 level. Alright, so let's now proceed. Let us unlock first the different terms. Definition of terms. Line of sight. What is line of sight? It says here that it is an imaginary line that your eye follow when looking at something. Okay. So just like in our illustration here, you will be this one. This would be the line of sight. And here is the object. So it's gonna be up or down. Next up, we have here the angle of elevation. What is angle of elevation? It is an angle between the horizontal line and the line of sight when looking at the object above. So where is that angle based from this illustration? So this angle here, this would be the horizontal line that we're talking to. And we have here the line of sight. And here is your object. Okay. So from this horizontal line going up, that would be your angle of elevation. Is that clear? Now how about depression? Angle of depression. It is an angle between horizontal line and the line of sight when looking at the object below. Oh, how does it look like? So right there, in our illustration, this would be our horizontal line. Okay? And below is the line of sight. So this part in here, this is the angle of depression. Okay? So let's apply that one in our activity. We call this activity as, am I in the right place? Okay. So let's have, identify the correct illustration of the given problem. You're going to choose the correct answer. Let's find out. Number 1. A man plies a kite with a 50-foot string. The angle of elevation of the string is 55 degrees. How high off the ground is the kite? Have your choice. Okay. Oh, there are two objects here. So which one is correct representation or illustration of the problem? Is it A or B? Oh, I have chosen. There you go. That's the correct answer. Letter A. Next up, number 2. From the top of the tower, 35-meter high, a man is observing the base of a tree at an angle of depression measuring 30 degrees. Find the distance between the tree and the tower. Let's have your choice. Oh, here is the two illustrations. Illustration A and illustration B. Which one do you think is the final answer? Well, the answer is, there you go. That's letter B. That's the correct one. Okay, next up. Number 3. The angle of elevation of the top of the building at a distance of 45 meters from its foot on a horizontal plane is found to be 65 degrees. Find the height of the building. How does it look like? Which one is the correct representation or illustration rather? Okay, so the answer is letter B. Okay, let's proceed to number 4. Janelle is standing on top of a 45-foot building and sees her friend, Molly. If Molly is 25 feet away from the base of the building, what is the angle of depression from Janelle to Jaya? Janelle's eye height is 5 feet. Let's illustrate. Which one is correct? There you go. That's correct. That is letter A illustration. Very good. Now let's proceed to problem solving example. With the directions given the following problems, you are going to illustrate and solve it. Okay, let's have number 1. Find the shadow cast by a 10-foot lamp post when the angle of elevation of the sun is 58 degrees. Find the length to the nearest tenth of a foot. How does it look like? Well, of course, if you will have a problem solving like this, you're going to first illustrate your figure for you to have a notion on how you're going to solve the problem, of course. Somewhat like you're making a plan. So you have to illustrate it first. So as we illustrate, we have here the illustration. Let's X be the length of the shadow. So here is our lamppost and the shadow that is being cast from the ray of a sun. So right here. Now, for our solution, in order to solve the problem, you must be able to create a right triangle and apply the trigonometric ratios. So, based on the given, you're going to use tangent, of course. Since tangent is equal to the opposite over adjacent. So that is because it is in the given. Okay. So from our illustration, this would be the angle. Opposite to that one is the 10 feet, and we're looking for the adjacent part, which is represented by our x. So as we simplify, to solve for x, let's now substitute. So what is tangent theta from that illustration? That is 58 degrees. Is equal to the opposite, which is 10, and adjacent is represented by x. So applying cross multiplication, you would have therefore x is equal to 10 over tangent 58 degrees. By simplifying, you would have 10 over 1.6003. So dividing 10 by 1.6003, you would have therefore 6.2. So as our conclusion, therefore, the length of the shadow is 6.2 feet. Is that clear now? Now let's proceed to problem number 2. Okay, so problem number 2. How far is a boat from the lighthouse, if the lighthouse is 120 feet tall and the angle of depression to the boat is 15 degrees, give the distance to the nearest tent of a foot. Okay, once again, you are going to illustrate first. Okay, with our illustration here, that the angle of depression is equivalent of 15 degrees. So right here, that is 15 degrees. And remember, you can apply that this angle here is just equal to the angle from here. Because it applies that alternate interior angles are congruent. Where our lighthouse is 120 feet and the distance from this boat to the lighthouse is unknown. So if that's the case, still, that was gonna be very easy for us to solve. So in that case, when solving a problem with an angle depression, you need to find the measure of an angle inside the triangle, which is the alternate interior angle. That's what I have told you a while back, that alternate interior angles are congruent. With the given data, the trigonometric ratio that we are going to use, of course, will be tangent theta, or tangent rather, which is opposite over adjacent. So it's just somehow like to our problem number 1. So from there, tangent 15 degrees is equal to 120 over x using cross multiplication. You would have it therefore that tangent 15 is equal to 120 rather over x. So our x would gonna be 447.9. So as our conclusion, the distance of the boat from the lighthouse is 447.9 feet. Is that clear now? Well, that's very easy. Now let's proceed to problem number 3 and number 4. Let's take a look with problem number 3. Find the height of the flagpole. Okay, let's find it out in our video clip. Okay, so based from our illustration we have here, we are asked to find the length of this area. So let's just call this one as our x sub 1. Okay, and this would gonna be our x sub 2. And to find the length of our x sub 1, remember that the length of here would gonna be the same as this. So this would gonna be also equivalent of 3 meters. Okay, let us solve for x sub 1 length. So to solve for x sub 1 length, remember this is a right angle. So given that this angle 65 is opposite to our x sub 1 and 3 meter is adjacent to that angle. So in that case, we can apply TOA. Okay? Which means tangent 65 is equal to the opposite over adjacent. So opposite to our 65 degrees, that would be our x over, and the adjacent one is 3. So therefore you would have tangent 65. So by cross multiplication, we're looking for the value of our x. So therefore you would have x is equal to 3 times tangent 65. By simplification, you would have what is tangent 65 times 3? And that would be equivalent of 6.4335. We'll just make use of the 4 digits. Or you could have as simply as 6.43. Okay, that is in meters. Okay, so in this case, right here, this would gonna be 6.43 meters. And we will be looking for the second one. So to solve for that one, you would still have solve for x sub 2. And looking at this illustration, remember this line here is 3 meter. And we're looking for x sub 2. So opposite of 30 degrees is our x sub 2. And that would also be the 3 meter is our adjacent to the 30 degree angle. So in that case, we still have to use TOA, which would gonna be tangent 30 is equal to the opposite over adjacent. So by substitution, again, that would be tangent 30, x, which is our opposite, and that would be 3. So cross multiplication, therefore you would still have 3 times tangent 30. So what is tangent 30 times 3? That is equivalent of 1.7321. Or you could have x, therefore, is equal to 1.73 meter. So in that case, we have here, this is 1.73 meters. So with our problem of the height of the flagpole, we're gonna be, we'll just simply combine our x sub 1 with our x sub 2. So you would have x, therefore, is equal to x sub 1 plus x sub 2, wherein this one is our x sub 1, which is 6.43 meter, and our x sub 2 is gonna be plus 1.73 meter, a total of 8.17 meter. So that would be the height of our flagpole. Oops, I'm sorry. So 6.43 plus 1.73 meters, that would gonna be not 8.17 but rather is 8.16 meters. Okay? So let's now proceed. Let's have number 4. Find the distance of the bird above the ground. Where? You have it here, 29 degrees, and from here is 1.5 meters. So from that place to that little boy is 15 meters. So the answer is gonna be 9.81 meter. So let's find it out in our solution. Let us now have problem wherein we're going to find out the distance of the bird above the ground. So this would gonna be the illustration wherein our bird is somewhere here, and here is the man having the flow, and the angle there that is being formed is 29 degrees, and from there this is 1.5 meter, and from the ground to that angle that is being formed is 15 meters. So meaning to say, this line here measures 15 meters. So in that case, we're looking for this one. Let's presume that is our x. So to solve for x, let's take a look what are the given. So based from here, we have here a triangle form, which is a right triangle. So making use of this given, we could have solve for x. Okay, so from there we can use, this is the angle opposite, and this would gonna be the adjacent to that angle. So in that case, we can still use TOA, which would gonna be tangent 29 degrees is equal to our opposite over adjacent, which is represented by x over 15. So same pattern we're gonna do. This would gonna be 29, then cross multiplication, therefore you would have x is equal to 15 times tangent 29. So what is tangent 29 times 15? Of 8.3146, or you could have as 8.31 meters. That would be the length of our x. So in here, this would gonna be 8.31. Okay, 8.31 meters. So since we are asked from this problem that the distance or the distance of the bird above the ground, so since we have here the 1.5 meter from the ground, so we'll just simply add 1.5 with our 8.31. So let's have 1.5 meter. A total would gonna be x is equal to 9.81 meter. So that would be the length or the distance from this bird in the illustration to the ground. That is equivalent of 9.81 meter. Okay, let's proceed. Let's now have the self-check questions. How did you find the answers? Well, it is very easy. You'll just simply apply the knowledge about the 6 trigonometric ratios, and you have to read properly the questions, the problems, especially when you're dealing with problem solving, of course. Let's proceed to this question. What mathematics concepts you have learned in the activity? Okay. Do you think you can apply these concepts in your daily life? How or why? It's gonna be all yours. Now let's proceed to the post-test, applying the knowledge that we have learned a while back. We call this one, let's play. Okay, with the given directions, you're going to choose the letter of your choice. Are we now ready? I'll be giving you only 5 seconds to answer the questions. Are we ready now? Okay, so let's have question number 1. Okay, question number 1. The line that connects the eye of an observer to the object is called... There you go. Go. And the correct answer is line of sight. That's correct. Let's proceed to question number 2. The baby is looking at the moon. The angle formed from the baby to the moon is a blank. Ready? Go. And the correct answer is angle of elevation. Okay? Number 3. The angle from the horizontal to the line of sight of the observer to the object below is called... Go. And the correct answer is angle of depression. Alright, that's very good. You've got it. Let's proceed to problem number 4, or question number 4. A 15-foot ladder rests against a tree and forms 60 degrees angle of elevation. Where is the correct location of the 60 degrees angle? Go. And the correct answer is, that is between the foot of the ladder and the ground. Okay? Next up, we have number 5. The angle of depression from the top of a building to a car traveling towards the building is blank as the car travels closer. Go. And the correct answer is increases. Okay? Question number 6. Using the diagram, which ratio is correct in finding the angle of elevation from the ground to the sun? Go. And the correct answer is, we have tangent theta is equal to 25 over 42. So that was very too small. Okay, it's okay. Can you see it well? Alright, let's proceed to number 7. Use this problem to answer questions number 7 to 8. John stands 926 meters from a point directly below the peak of a mountain. The angle of elevation to the top of the mountain is 42 degrees. You are asked to use sine 42 degrees as equivalent of 0.67 and cosine 42 as 0.74, and tangent 42 is equal to 0.9. Okay, let's now have number 7. Which equation can be used to find the height of the mountain, as represented by x? Go. And the correct answer is tangent 42 is equal to x over 926. Very good. You've got it. Next, number 8. What is the height of the mountain? Go! Remember, you are asked to use those values. So the answer is 833.4 meters. Very good, you've got it. Let's proceed to number 9. In the given diagram, what is the measure of the angle of depression from the bird to the ground? Let's take a look with the illustration. Ready? Go! And the correct answer is, we have 84.6 degrees. Okay, last question, number 10. A meteorologist measures the angle of elevation of a weather balloon as 37 degrees. A radio signal from the balloon indicates that it is 1,500 meters from his location. How high above the ground is the balloon? Remember, you are going to use 37 degrees as 0.6, and cosine 37 degrees is 0.8, and tangent 37 degrees as 0.75. Okay? Ready? Go! And the correct answer is, that is 900 meters. Congratulations! Okay, so let's now have the problem solving round. And we call this one as try it on your own problem. With the directions, you're asked to draw and solve the problem. I will be giving you 10 seconds to answer it. Okay? You can already answer while I am reading this problem. Ready? Go! Number 1. A coconut tree casts a shadow of 20 feet long. The angle of elevation of the sun is 30 degrees. What is the height of the coconut tree? Ready? Go! And the correct answer is 11.5 feet. That's correct. Next up, number 2. From your balcony, 8 feet high, you see a child across the street. The angle of depression to the child is 35 degrees. How far is the child from your house? Ready? Go! And the correct answer is 11.4 feet. Okay. Number 3. From a point on the ground, 400 feet from the base of the building, it is observed that the angle of elevation to the top of the building is 26 degrees and the angle of elevation to the top of the flagpole atop of the building is 30 degrees. Find the height of the flagpole. Okay, again, so let's have 10 seconds. Ready? Go! And the correct answer is, we have 35.8 feet. Okay, let's proceed to number 4. A water tower is located 30 degrees feet from a building. From a window in the building, it is observed that the angle of elevation to the top of a tower is 40 degrees and the angle of depression to the top of the tower is 20 degrees. How tall is that tower? Okay, let's go. Go! And the correct answer is, we have 360.9 feet. Congratulations! Okay, thank you so much for listening and job well done. So I hope that this video really helps a lot from your learning in today's pandemic. God bless everyone. Take good care. Stay safe.